we are in for a pretty awesome match.
Let's start it. Game number 3 here. The battleground has been chosen. And we're going, wow, to Braxis Holdout and Team Liquid with the choice.
Yeah, Liquid has played this map a few times, and the one thing that they play on this map is Thagara.
That's right.
So
with that Dignitas network.
Yeah, I could actually see, not gonna lie, I could see a ban.
I
could see Dignitas simply saying, yeah, we know what you did so far on this map, we're just going to ban it out again.
Remind me, that was the Chromium Zagara, right? Where they put the bottom lane, they pushed in really heavily, got some siege potential.
It was also where the one Nidus network at the top right was missed just barely by Rega. It was against Team Expert, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And that just felt a little bit bad. So that's one of the tools that they have. It's interesting that Team Liquid now forces Braxis, considering that in the past Dignitas was with global strategies looking quite strong on it. But yeah, game number 3, one of the two teams is going to take the lead. Going to find out which one it is now. Is it going to be Team Liquid that actually starts to see if they can maybe even take it here? Dignitas with a quick ban on Oriel, actually. This is also a map where I could definitely see Dignitas now pull out their medic again.
Yeah, the Morales. That's actually a really good point. With you banning out the Oriel, you take away some of the only healers that help have that sustain that you would normally have in that bottom side, so Morales can get the edge over time. That's actually a good point. Genji getting banned out too. Genji on this battleground is more of a nuisance than any other battleground, which is hard to imagine. But with the perfect defense at level 7, you have the boss cheese, but mostly it's the flanks in the top lane that he can pull off in an almost effortless manner as he's able to jump over the wall, dash forward, and jump on a top lane.
So we have to watch out for globals, and I still expect Morales to be taken by Team Dignitas, unless the situation doesn't work out for them at all. Later on in the draft, of course. I mean, first pick is still ETC. Could still see a Dehaka for Team Liquid. But it depends a bit on how they want to run that solo lane. So for Team Liquid, Zagara is definitely going to be a big part of their usual draft here. That might be targeted in bans, or Team Liquid might pick her later. Those are the two heroes that stand out for the two teams on this battleground. With Dignitas taking ETC, the question remains, do you go into Uther right away to take away the potential between Divine Shield and Moshpit, or do you simply attempt to, you can't ban him out later. Dignitas is going to have the next pick in there. I mean, Liquid knows as well that we've seen Morales play from Dignitas, so that's something that is currently on their mind. Yes, they could play with Uther here, but they also play their Morales style, so do we actually have to take Uther? Do we prefer Rega? They go into Chromie, and they add Muradin very early on in the draft now, so they have interrupts against ETC, a lot of burst damage. And let's see how Dignitas is gonna run it from here, because this is now where both of the teams have to kind of start. They have to commit to something a bit, since the next ban phase could ruin their plans.
So Team Liquid, with their pick on the Chromia and the Muradin, have committed to a strong bottom lane that pokes you out as much as possible and eventually tries to break you to where you either Hearthstone or you get killed off so they can take away the beacon. They'll need a good top laner to make sure they can solidify this couple of first pickups. A couple of options if Zagara does get banned out. You could move into Falstad. Global play is always good here. And speaking of global play, that Dehaka is up and available. But the more I look at this here for Dignitas, and you brought up that Morales, I feel like we're gonna see it here. The first time we did see Morales was with an ETC. It's also been utilized with a Muradin as well. A strong front line that can sit in front, has a lot of CC, and controls space.
So Dignitas, time to show what they want to do here. I mean, you can do so many things right now. Either play around the global, play around the Uther comp, and they go for full global. The first time they used the Haka and Falset on the map, what they did is they had two different strategies. One strategy was keep both globals on one lane, and then rotate both onto the other lane, turning into a 5 versus 3, or just simply swap globals the entire time. Set one down, 5 versus 4 battle, second global flies up, catches the experience. And it seems very much as if that's going to be the attempt again with which they are attempting to take Team Liquid down.
And if they ban Zagara too when it comes over to Dignitas' side, I could almost kiss Bakery, because that would be such a strong play. First off, you get the double global setup, you stop a really strong top laner and the Zagara that could be happening there, and you also have the Dehaka who will control that lane very well.
You want to kiss Bakery?
No, I don't want to kiss it. I say I could kiss
Why
him?
him?
Because he's like the
JPL draft.
But he's the face of Dignitas, let's be real. Come on.
Okay, you have a crush for Bakery, apparently. That's good to know. I had no idea.
It's a big jump right there. All right.
You could have said Mina as well. He has the same draft impact.
I mean, I could if you want me to. You know what? You can
You
can pick whoever.
It's okay.
I
No. It's like, dude, I don't want to break up the romance here. It's totally fine. I understand it. I just didn't picture you that way.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna ban the Zagara. I love this draft from Dignitas. First off, you bring in the research. You pick up the second pickup that you would normally have if you were to go for the Zagara.
Does that really surprise you, the Zagara?
Yeah, but I love the false
that we already called right at the start.
Yes, but the Falstad takeaway is what I love so much about it. I mean, no, I know we've seen double global in the past, but the backup plan for me, if you're looking at Team Liquid, would have been the Falstad in that top lane. Because you want to have someone that can be able to dictate the pace in the top lane, be a strong solo laner, also have an engage. And if Zagara is taken away, you go to Falstad, but they just take it away from them right away, and they stop everything that Team Liquid will put with this Chromie.
All right, we can stop the game. It's over.
Pretty much. There is one option that they could move into.
No, don't say it.
Do you know where I'm going with this?
I think so.
What's it start with? It starts with an R.
No, just absolutely no. I thought you were going for Brightwing. We're not talking about Ragnaros. We're not talking about the Lava Wave.
I was talking about Rainer.
I'm always down for Jimmy, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, no Ragnaros.
I do wonder what Plan C is. With Plan A taken away, Plan B taken away by Dignitas.
I don't think that Plan B is taken away in any means right now. Liquid obviously wanted Zagara. I mean, this is the play style that they have currently on Braxis. This is what they have been doing twice, I think, now. So they needed to know that Zagara is a potential ban. If I'm Liquid, then I know if I don't pick Zagara as my first pick, there is a very good chance that it's getting taken away from me. So they go again for Alarak. They had the same style they played the last time. They played Alarak with Chromie, and they have a couple of really nice combos around it. They played it the last time with Stukov. So the question is, are they heading into another Stukov style here as well with a double support? Would feel a bit weird to me, to be honest, with the setup that they're running right now. But they could do that. The silence was actually a really big deal. Having the pull combo on Ararak, the silence in Chromie gets just shot in after shot. So that is something that they could definitely try to do. Question for me is, are they now going to take Morales? And I think that's a pretty much a given considering the way that Dignitas has been playing this. Liquid decided to ban Uther out over Morales. They know that Dignitas likes to play Morales because Bakery has said it in interviews. But with ETC on the other side, you want to make sure that the Divine Shield ETC Moshpit is not going to wreck you completely.
A few seconds we're going to find out. A Mage will be a pickup too. 4 mana. It's going to be the Golden pre-typical on this battleground. And there she is, the Lieutenant Morales. Right. Dignitas has a powerful comp for this battleground.
And let's see what Liquid is going for as their last pick. I love the last time that they really had this Stukov setup. That was extremely powerful, but I don't really see it in this particular draft right now for them. I'm curious what the last pick is going to be for them. They didn't get Zagara, the hero they wanted when they chose the battleground. Dignitas has pretty much gotten everything that they wanted. They play the heavy global game here with ETC, Dehaka, Falstad. ETC, of course, in this setup can safely go into Moshpit. But for Liquid, it's going to be a bit rough. They have to really make sure that they are not getting completely out-global by their opponent. And that is a tall order here. This is the reason why I actually expected Dehaka to be taken in the early rotation for them. Or Zagara, one of the two.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They chose Chromie and Muradin. I fully understand Chromie. Muradin, not so much. And we get Probius. Hazop's going to be on the hero. Has been playing with her quite a bit. You need to watch more Hazop stream. You're too shocked for this. He has been playing quite a bit of Probius. Are you okay?
Against double global, though?
I mean...
Like, Probius has been nerfed enough that if you sneeze on him, he's looking at the death screen.
I know. I feel this is a bit of desperation on what they're having right now.
That's Plan
C.
I'm telling you.
It's Plan C.
Plan C's the probe.
I mean, as long as you anchor safely and you make sure that the Haka isn't burrowing out and catches you, then I guess you're fine. But the problem is that even Falstad alone, when he flies in, can simply take you apart. It's a bit rough here, but Hazop has been playing quite a bit of Probius, has experimented with a few builds, focusing in a lot of his streams highly on turrets in general. So we'll find out. They played usually with Zagara, but maybe Probius has enough. We are going to see if that's going to have the impact on the lane. They definitely need to win that solo lane. If they can, that's something that is going to be shown in the game itself. I'm just really afraid of all that global pressure that we have from Dignitas. And again, I'm coming back to what I already said earlier. find it weird that with Dignitas' history on this map, you allow them to get all of the globals.
We'll see if the double global can beat the probe. Let's go to game number 3. Brax's holdout will be the battlefield that we are playing on. Let's get started.
Starting to the left side of the map, Bakery on Morales for Team Dignitas. It is a tie in the series. JPL finds himself on ETC, Mene on Gul'dan. We have Snitch on Falstad, and of course Dehaka played by Zelia.
On the right side in the red, Nurok will be your Chromie player, Hasselwab's playing Probius, Darkmok playing Alarak, Splinter playing Rhaegar, and Blumby on Muradin. Now before the game starts, let's talk about what Probius can do well. He can control space pretty decently, especially if he gets into one-on-ones, two-on-ones too, if he's able to dance around. The problem is that he falls apart pretty quickly to flanks that come your way. If a target gets behind you and you get interrupted as you try to boost away from the fight, you kind of get obliterated. But he does also have good wave clear. He shreds minions like crazy. He won't be the push that you would normally get from a Zagara going straight for it if you wanted to, but he'll make sure that a minion does not touch your turret.
I thought it was a trick question. I thought you would lead with nothing.
Oh, okay.
What can Probius do? Well, nothing. No, jokes aside, Echo Pulse taken as level 1. We've already seen him, seen it in play here a little bit. You can see it here in action once again. And Dignitas opts now for the double global up at the top. And as I said at the beginning of the draft, in the past, Dignitas has played with Falstad and Dehaka with 2 variations. One variation is a double global on lane, and then you can simply move to the bot lane and turn it into a 5 versus 3 battle that you, of course, then have to win, because if not, then you lose out experience up at the top. Or they have one global hero on each lane so that they can swap between the 2. Move one down, have a quick 5 versus 4 fight, and then move the second one up so that they don't lose any experience. So for Team Liquid, this is the biggest threat right now, that they are getting completely out-global and out-macroed by their opponent. Hazorp's job up at the top lane is just to hold the lane against the 2 for now, make sure that the wall doesn't fall, and that he has enough experience soak. The big problem comes really in when we're having the beacons active, because that's where Dignitas can really play around Team Liquid.
It does feel very natural to have Hasselwabs on that Probius. Thoughts aside about the comps that we're facing off against. Playing in the Protoss, man.
Yeah, I mean, Hazorp's ever since Warcraft 3 was a little bit of a trader. He started out on the right side with Undead, but then instead of moving to Zerg, he moved to Protoss. Sometimes a lot of people have never forgiven him, Tom. Myself included.
Some people. One person in the world has yet to forgive him for it.
No, with him being a Protoss player in StarCraft, you are right. It feels kind of right that he is the one that is currently playing the Protoss unit here. So, yeah.
So far, holding that lane very well. Dignitas, I do like their adaptation to the lanes here. When you look at Team Liquid on the bottom side, their wave clear is pretty small, Rhaegar being one of their main wave clears, but they do have kill potential, so Dignitas plays careful, and they just keep going down that bottom lane to keep fail flaming the waves as much as possible. Yeah,
bot lane, this is where the fight is now happening. And keep in mind, at some point, Dignitas is going to make the rotation bot. And that means that Hazorps, at that point, has to make sure that he gets the top beacon, and at the bot lane, Liquid is going to see how they can actually measure up against this. For now, we have the 4 versus 3 at the bot lane, which guarantees a beacon for Team Liquid. And we have, at this point, also level 4, which gives us 4 Chromie, once again the Bronze Talon. We already see 9 stacks for Nurok, and Probius so far not making the choice here. Turbocharge now taken. So Hazorps moving a bit away from that build that he occasionally shows on his personal stream, where he goes into quite a bit of turret builds, and Talons instead. Turbocharge is now taken for the passive movement speed. Like, it's all about positioning here. Darkmok. Ooh, no.
He's low, the heal comes out. Oh, not enough. Does get picked up. Blooming comes down, trying to fight a little bit over this shrine. We'll be able to have the shrine grab on the top, though, the beacon, as Probius moves forward.
Yeah, that's the global play that we've been talking about a bit earlier now. So exactly what you would expect. With them moving down, they could get the kill against Alarak. Now they have the pressure play up at the top. And with Dehaka moving in, of course, Team Liquid is going to lose this one as well. Which is why Liquid moves in at the bot lane, trying to regain control over the bottom beacon. And then that entire dynamic is something we are going to see now over and over again. If they get the kill against JPL, that would be the dream. And they do. Nurok with a snipe. He gets that kill confirmed. Well done but 16% on the progress bar for Dignitas, thanks to their efforts. And Hazorps is just trying to work on his setup up at the top again.
Also playing safe, doing what he does best. That Probius clearing out the waves. All the way. Oh, by the way, that turbocharge. I love that pickup there on the level 4 you were talking about already. But again, the main reason for it is that cooldown reduction. If you ever get to a spot where a gank comes your way, or you know that Dahaka is burrowing in, you hear the big sound that he's gonna be in the bush nearby, just pop that. Just get away from the fight and wait for a little bit, and then stay near your pylons. You continue to get that slight movement speed, which helps you dodge out on skill shots.
It basically is, yeah, the movement speed and the cooldown reduction is like both so important so that Probius is not going to get caught. The problem is, if the probe dies being solo on its lane, then you are losing experience, and you're going to lose a lot of it. And that's the biggest issue. Now 2 globals up at the top, and that means Liquid has to take the one at the bottom. Here's the kill against Probius, though, and welcome to the worst case scenario.
One drag hits, and he's just dead.
Yeah, so that's exactly the one situation they needed to avoid, because now the 2 globals can also start to move down. We have a 4 versus 3 for now, but here comes Falstad flying in. The Haka is also moving in. Blomby immediately dashing out, but the Haka cancels his burn, is now up at the top. Both of the beacons are under the control of Team Dignitas, and that's exactly the power play with the globals that they can do.
And let's look at it here. So far, one Probius death has equaled out to 30% on the beacon. It's going to be a little bit more here as it goes all the way up to 60, continuing to climb here to 70. Azalea and Snitch delay as long as they can. So a total of 48% was grabbed off of that Probius death. That's how important it is not to die in that top lane.
Hazorps just can't die. Tower defense is now taken as well. So it's all about cooldown reduction right now, and basically every single talent that Hazorps has outside of level 1 with the Echo Pulse, but they fight for the bottom again. 4 versus 3 scenario. They reclaim the beacon, but they again lose out on the progress. 78% now against 20. So Dignitas is slowly and steadily starting to win the first objective. In experience, the teams are still both extremely close. We have level 7 talents now taken, but overall, as you can see, Liquid finds themselves on the defensive.
I am worried for Team Liquid if they're not able to get any more beacon progress. Their defense is a bit small compared to what Dignitas has on their side when it comes to clearing out the waves. They will have Probius, which again is helpful, but it does require some setup time. And then they'll have to get a kill between Alaric and Chromie, but it's hard for the Alaric to move into that Zerg wave, and Chromie, while she does have the range, Dignitas will be expecting that. So they'll be moving constantly to try not to get locked down. Yeah,
currently Liquid is trying to get some extra value on the lanes by themselves, just getting camp after camp. And that has worked out to an extent. Down here to the bot lane, we now have the rotation coming in again. Lumbi is now moving in, and we have Rhaegar and Alarak also on their way, which leaves Probius in a 1 versus 2 up at the top. So the Haka is starting to get the beacon once more, but reclaiming the bot lane, this is where Team Liquid is at. So it's the entire time, it's just about that 1 versus 2 at the top lane, the 4 versus 3 at the bottom of the map, the constant rotations of the globals, and Team Liquid always reacting to where the 2 global heroes are. Do they move bottom? Then you need to reclaim the beacon at the top. Are they at the top? Then you have a better position to take the bottom beacon, and that's what they're trying to do.
At 10, getting closer and closer for Dig. Nurok goes in for a full combo on top of JPL, but Baker with the safeguard just keeps him alive easily here. With all 4 members down on the bottom for Team Liquid, Dignitas continues to push on the top side. Soak the experience, trying to get towards that Probius and, you know, get a turret or maybe get a kill, but Hazorps continues to play safe.
And I mean, we haven't even touched on Bakery on Morales yet, but you can see that he has absolutely no problem down here at the bot lane. He's just super safe, always staying in the back. Nurok can't even really focus Morales with any kind of hit, since he always has to take care of the beacon position itself. So Bakery is under very little pressure. Now we have level 10 abilities for Team Dignitas, and that is when Team Liquid rotates to the top, because they know it's the only one they can fight for. Falstad is already on the way down to the bot lane. Team Liquid has bought some time by them rotating top. Lumbi is in trouble though. If he can hop out, but he doesn't have the cooldown, yeah, he's going to die here eventually.
Yep, getting picked off. It's gonna buy some time, even steal the regen globe. Speaking about that Bakery build, that level 4 pickup, Trauma Trigger, great against Alarak. If you ever are getting comboed and get below 40% health, you get 30 armor for 3 seconds. This gives the ability for Morales to walk away from a fight and then try to escape their opponents. If she doesn't get hit by Chromie, she probably will get that escape. So an interesting adaptation. We've been seeing a lot of the grenade builds so far from a lot of our teams here in the HGC, as we have seen the Morales in both Korea and Europe. But Bakery having a different build, and it makes sense.
Yeah, beacons again, shared. 1 top, 1 bottom. So a complete split. 3 kills so far for Team Dignitas, thanks to the global play. Hazorps again with the speed boost, rushing away from Snitch. Chromie getting a good shot in here as well, as they are reclaiming the beacon. So they have done some damage to the structures. that's at least something that works for them here. But overall, it's just Dignitas running the show.
We've been talking about Probius Morales. Chromie has 23 stacks on her quest so far. A little bit on the lower side compared to a lot of teams that we've seen, but it has been quite difficult for her to land those shots. The only target that's been out there enough for her is that ETC, who's been dancing around against that Morales. And we're getting closer and closer to that 100% for Dignitas with 86 to 20% on beacon progress.
Yeah, Meriden was at the top fighting the Haka, but had to move back as Falstad moved in. And 86 versus 20, as you said, but at least they reclaim the progress for now. And with a camp at the bot lane, they might be able to put enough pressure onto the lane to pressure the wall and maybe even take a tower or two down. That would be a great start for them here to gain some momentum.
They're just going to go ahead and set up and control this bottom side with that night camp. With the hostile obs already being here, Blumby has continued from the top all the way to the bottom, and they do open up the turret walls you were just mentioning.
The problem is that at the top we are seeing the exact same thing. So they have to just push faster than the top lane does. They have to get more value out of the bottom lane than the two globals do. And at some point these two globals are going to move down. And that is the moment when you have to be prepared for the flank, especially with Mighty Gus being one of the tools that's going to be used. And we see Snitch and Zelia already getting ready for it. Here comes Falstad. JPL moves in. Yep, the Haka is also more or less ready. Waits for the drag, doesn't get it. And we have the beacon taken by Snitch, and this is going to be the Zerg wave in favor of Team Dignitas, 100% against 20.
A 10-minute fight over the beacon progress resulted in Dignitas winning here with a 100% to the 20% we saw for Team Liquid. Now it's all about defense, and this is where I do worry about Team Liquid. How will they handle this big maneuver in this top lane with the Haka already clearing out the bottom side? They're definitely going to lose a 4, but will they lose more?
Yeah, that's a big question here, because we still have the Haka at the bot lane, but again, he can just move up. Snitch already eating the combo, and he moves out, gets a few more hits in, but still, so far they're doing well with Bakery just healing all of them up. Even Chromie can't do anything about it now with a nice hit, but this is a fort already eliminated, and this is an entire level that Dignitas now leads with, and of course that also results in a talent advantage for the blue team.
Dignitas continues to move forward, getting these Guardians to clear out these turrets for more experience. The Haka will finally see Alarak on the bottom, so I expect an engage from JPL. And yes, here comes the Haka as well. He's going in the back right. Snitch flies in. Mighty Gus, massive, horrify into a mosh pit. Team Dignitas cleans this fight up.
Yeah, Nurok is also going to fall here, or should at least, but somehow stays alive, at least for now. Well done. Nothing that he would be able to move out, but it still is 2 kills against Team Liquid. Overall, it's 5 kills against 1. Team Dignitas now with a 2-level lead, moving through the top wall. Bakery already setting everyone up for medevac. Moves to the bot lane where they can attempt to take down the fort too.
Working on the fort already. Murden's on his way to help dissuade that. Here is the engage. Look at Snitch coming in with the Mighty Gust. Minute hits that Horrify.
Yeah, hits the Horrify. The Mosh Pit comes through. They go for Norok. They actually do not get the kill here, which still surprises me a bit. But the 2 kills were enough. So now the bottom fort has fallen as well. Team Liquid is getting out-rotated, as we said before. It's not only the 2 globals with Falstad and Dehaka. Now that we have Bakery on level 10, he can provide the ability for the entire team and just simply make these quick rotations with them.
And this is where it's not fun to be a Probius player. When you lose out on your forts on your side of the map and you're facing off against double global, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, do I just group with my team and try to be protected?
Okay, let's be just honest here for a second. At this point, Team Liquid is just screwed.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them.
Because the problem with Probius is the map is so open, you can't retreat to towers anymore. You can't retreat to a fort anymore. So unless you're defending at the keep itself, you have to be with a team. If you're alone on the map, as you said, there's no defense. There's always a spot for the Haka to burrow in behind you, for Falstad to fly in. Probably doesn't even have to use Gust, but if he wants to confirm a kill, Gust would make that easily possible. Right now, Team Liquid has lost all control over the battleground. Dignitas has everything they need, and it really just comes down to the draft. Liquid drafted the map where they recently had success with Zagara play, but at the same time, Dignitas used this map in Phase 1 at the end, Phase 1 Part 2, quite often with double globals, and Liquid completely disrespected that. And then Dignitas didn't have to do anything else but ban out Zagara as she wasn't taken early. No global was taken early by Liquid, so they take a double global, they take Morales at the end, they eliminate the one hero that Liquid wants to run on this map, and now Liquid stands there and is just taking a beating throughout the entire early phase of the game.
Yep, they're in panic mode now. Desperation is probably one of the best things they can set up for. They're going to throw a couple pylons up in the top right corner and have the Photon being available. So if there is a hard engage from Dignitas that they fail on, there is always the idea of pylon overcharge and a Chromie blow-up that can save them, but it's going to be dire. It's going to be very difficult for them to pull that off. Dignitas is not going to make that mistake. They've shown the last couple of weeks to play very disciplined, and they'll go ahead and push on the top side probably.
I mean, right now, I think Dignitas cannot lose this game anymore. Dignitas can only lose this game if they completely throw. If they full-on start griefing, then maybe. If they lose,
Snitch gets silenced here.
The problem is, even if you kill one global, the other one can still stay on the lane. Like, just think about how this is going to work. They have two globals, so they can push on one lane. There has to be a rotation. Once the rotation happens, the two globals can go for the fight, can try and get the kill, and they just repeat that until they get that kill. And even if they don't get it, they will at least end up with an advantage in talents every single time. So they can even push for the faster 20 if the 60 talent advantage doesn't prove to be enough. And killing someone, how is Liquid going to get a kill here? With Bakery going to be in there all the time? I mean, Zelia might fall here. They can just rotate false at top again and pressure the keep now. They don't even have to win the fight. That's the biggest problem. They
found a Haas off the back left, gets healed with the Ancestral. We're going to have the big mosh pit coming in. Bakery will attempt to stop it from occurring. Is going to be able to go through for JPL, but the safeguard and the heals might be enough. Bakery is low in energy, so they might want to escape for now. Nurok gets caught though as Zelia lands the drag, and finally a kill comes in for Dignitas.
And again, you don't even have to fight this. At any point, they could have sent a global to the top lane to simply push the keep. Once you do that, I mean, what are you going to do? The keep is going to fall. You can already see the keep taking damage, and we're having Hazo Ops now trying to save it. But if you, during that battle, just simply decide that you give up the bottom beacon, you can easily do it. They win the fight, which is, of course, even better, but they had so many options. Now they take Probius down, they're going to kill Muradin. The beacon progress is just continuing. It's going to be 100%. There is no way for Dignitas to lose this game until they full-on grief. For Liquid to win it, they needed to win the early game, and that didn't happen.
Keep gets cleaned up, and there is one thing that is certain right now: Zerg is better than Protoss. As we see the Zerg wave in the bottom side.
You take that back.
Starting to push it.
You take that
Zerg's
back.
better than Protoss? I thought you were a Zerg fan.
Did you say the other way around?
No, I didn't say the other way around.
Okay.
You just wanted to jump on me. This guy over here.
True.
The Zerg shredding on the bottom side. Open the wall, and there's
You're
a
good boy.
Thank you. Thank you.
I heard the other thing. I'm just, I don't know. I have to admit it. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed by Liquid's draft here. I really am. They chose the map. They needed to.
Be ready.
Did they actually choose the map?
Yeah, they did.
Yep, they did. Because
first pick went over to Dig.
Last one, yeah.
Well, the core is taking damage. They might be able to slow this down.
Come on, are you kidding me?
But they do. They hold it.
Yeah, but the keeps are both dead. Dignitas hasn't lost. We are on Braxis, and Dignitas hasn't lost a fort. How can Liquid win this? If Dignitas goes AFK for a few minutes, this is one chance. Another one is if Dignitas, for example, at some point decides they go for a boss play when false setup. Like, even a boss play, how can you lose a boss play if you're having Mighty Gust and you also have Horrify?
Requires Probius to be set up, but you shouldn't walk into a trap with a couple pylons around.
I mean, even at a boss play, you can't really throw it, but that's the only way how they possibly could lose this. If they take a weird fight at the boss, Liquid wins the boss fight and then pushes with the boss, but even then you can just backdoor with Medivac. I mean, this is just... Liquid is getting a beating in this game. 8 kills against 1. They casually move in, think about stealing the camp away. Didn't commit anything though. Don't sacrifice a Gust just simply for a camp. Can easily take that. The camp already that they have moving through the bot lane. They can wait for the beacons again, and the only thing they have to do is wait for the beacons, and once the beacons are active, it's checkmate. Because Liquid either has to make a play for the beacons, which they never can do because there's 2 globals out-rotating them, and then both of the lanes are getting pushed. So eventually Liquid is going to have to make the choice, do we go and defend our core if we do, our opponent grabs both beacons. Do we force a fight? Then the other lane is going to push in. The two globals move top or bottom, depending on where they are, and end the game.
Team Liquid's doing what they can for now, which is keep tabs on their opponent. Make sure they don't go for that boss in case they do have that miracle boss call. Leave Probius for defense, which Probius can excel for, just defending two ways for a long time, so they should be fine in that regard. But with 20 right on the corner, about that those beacons pop up, Dignitas is playing as safe as possible, controlling bushes, JP on the front line. We never have Bakery getting caught out of position.
Liquid knows all of this. They're waiting for a mistake. They know that if Dignitas doesn't make a huge mistake, the game's over. They need to, they are staying in this as long as they can, and they're hoping that at some point Dignitas is going to make a really bad mistake and that they can capitalize on it. And at this point, they're so desperate as the beacons are now up that they're going for the boss. It's the only thing they can do. But you're taking a boss right now against an opponent that has Horrify, Mosh Pit, and Mighty Gust.
Let's see if it pans out. They get it low. JPL's waiting for his moment. The slowing stands on the left side. There is a Mighty Gust right below with the false set that can come in and knock back the opponents. There is Photon Overcharge up for Probius, which is going to be helpful for DPS. The Mighty Gust comes out. There's the Power Slide into the Horrify. The boss is yet to be grabbed, but already with a Murnin and Alaric dead, and now a Nurok. Team Liquid loses 4, a 5th member, and a boss, and the Beacon phase.
Yeah, it's the team wipe. The Beacon phase is lost. Medivac to the core. Catapults are going to finish the core. Again, Liquid knew it was over. They were hoping for a mistake. The mistake didn't happen. Then they had, once the beacons were up, they knew it's GG. The only play they can make is go for boss. Dignitas knows that as well. Even with boss, they probably can't win. Dignitas waits until the boss is taken, and then Gust, Horrify, Mosh Pit come into play. But Liquid, I mean, there's nothing they can do. They got crushed in draft, and their only chance to beat this was win the early game.
Yeah.
If you win the early game with it, then you have an opportunity. They didn't win the early game, so from that point on, they were just like, wait, 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 hope for a mistake. I don't know, if Bakery face checks a bush at some point, or Falstead flies in somewhere and misclicks on the map and flies to the wrong spot, then maybe they get an insta-kill, they gain some momentum from that, and they can attempt to snowball it somehow. But the chances of that happening against Dignitas are just slim. Yeah. This is one of those games where, as Liquid, you just have to say, okay, we failed in draft, we got greedy, didn't pick a global, and on the first rotation, and got punished hard for it.
But good news on Dignitas, they came in and they delivered where they needed to. Yeah. In fact, we had a fight that we got to witness. Let's go ahead and check out that fight and see how they controlled the flow around the boss. This was just pure patience from Dignitas. Look at Falset on the right side, just ready for that Mighty Gust. JPL is just dancing around, knowing this is the last-ditch attempt for a win here.
Yeah, I mean,
Gust.
This is just desperate.
Horrify hits all 5 people. Mene nailing it perfectly here. They focus down the hot swabs, the power slide in into the mosh pit. It's just done, dude.
It disturbs me slightly how much pleasure apparently Josh gets from showing this fight again, where Team Liquid went for a Hail Mary. Even the slow-mo that comes in to just see every single death in with more clarity. That is a little bit disturbing to me.
It's beautiful in a way, though, watching that all unfold. Like, they just perfectly executed on it. I mean, we were calling it the entire time, but sometimes you have flubs.
Okay, let's be honest here for a second. Yes, it was fairly well executed, but this is the easiest fight of your life.
Yeah.
You know for 5 minutes that it's coming. That's first of all. Like, you know for 5 minutes that this is going to happen. And then you just sit there and you have 5 minutes to actually think about, do you want a Gust first or should I Horrify first? Jay, when will you use the Mosh Pit? Do you want me to, like, how do we... This is the easiest fight that he will ever fight in the entire life. I mean, think about it. Liquid sees them standing there. Dignitas stands around the boss and is just like, yeah, boys, you go on.
You go first.
Boss nearly done. Liquid says, okay, let's try and take this. And they know exactly what happens, but they have nothing. They don't have any tools that can work with this. So, yes, the fight was well coordinated, but at the same time, Dignitas has won way better fights than Curse
I don't know about you guys at home, but I think Caldor does not believe that Team Liquid had a chance post-10 in that fight. that's the vibe I'm getting from you.
After the keeps were down, it was over. Like, the keeps down, the fort's down, and you have nothing. Probius becomes useless.
Well,
as we said, with it, like, I'm disappointed. After the first 2 maps, if that would have been the first map, I would have said, Dignitas crushing it today. But after we had such close maps, I was like all on the Team Liquid train. I was just like, this is going to be a 5-mapper. This is going to be awesome. Then they're going into Braxton like, all right, they have something prepared. We know they have Zagara, but there's going to be another strategy because they know Dignitas is probably going to ban it. and then we get this.
Well, we know Plan C.
I'm tilted.
Does
Liquid,
not work.
I want to see something that is better now. I
Well,
want the Liquid that we had in Game 1 and Game 2.
if we get the tied up series, it will come down to some of the tank play that we've been seeing for the last couple of days. It's JPL versus Blumby. It's going to be our player comparison for today. JPL,
A
the
beast.
shot caller, the drafter, and local beast.
I mean,
for
look
Dignitas.
at these stats. 1.3 deaths as the tank. 6.1 KDA ratio, nearly doubling what Blumby has here right now. Dignitas is playing fantastic at this point. They had a great first 2 games. They lost on Battlefield, but still good games that we had there. Some really cool fights, mainly with a couple of really nice interrupts against Mosh Pits, really good combos, popping off in some of those fights with the resets that he got on Liming. And now with, yeah, those two, the front line here definitely ending up in favor of Team Dignitas, especially, of course, with how inconsistent Team Liquid was in the past. And, yeah,
Blumby.
I want to see more action between the two teams.
You want to see a close fight.
I want to see
You
5 maps. I was so hyped after the first 2 maps. I was like, oh my god, do we really get all of this? This is amazing.
Here we go.
There we go. All right.
Game number 4. A standard map for
I'm ready.
you.
I'm
So
ready.
hopefully we get a close